What's up, brothers and sisters? First of all, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Second of all, I want to jump right into the subject. Um, I received a message on Facebook. There's no disrespect or nothing, but this video is just in response to some questions I was getting concerning a picture that I posted on Facebook the other day. Uh, First of all, the picture was, if you hadn't seen it, I'm going to post a clip of it right now. It should be on the screen. This is the picture that the brother had questions about. And if you look at the comments on Facebook, you can see the questions that he asked me. No disrespect. First of all, I want to say to that brother, thank you for the questions, because it gives me an opportunity to explain myself so you don't have any misconceptions about my spirituality or my beliefs or any of that type stuff. One of the big misconceptions, I'm looking at the some of the questions, some of the statements that you made on the post. Like I said, if y'all hadn't saw the post, I'm gonna keep it up on the screen. You can look over the post and check out the parts what I'm talking about. I hope I can address it the best that I can in this one video, and I'm gonna try to address every point you made with every question. So we're gonna go on hop into this. The topic is basically, do I believe in God? What it is that if I say to somebody that I am a God, and that the woman is a goddess and the man is a god, to that person feel like I'm taking the place of Jesus. Or if you're Buddhist, you may think I'm taking the place of Buddha, or you may think that's blasphemy to call myself a god. So I basically want to explain that, and also, but let me get into it. That's pretty much the meat of the topic. Do I believe in God? I'm gonna show you where I stand on my belief in God, if that's the term that you want to use it. And then thanks for the questions. Taking no more L's. This for you, brother. I'm gonna address a lot of the stuff that you was asking me, and I'm gonna start from the top. You said, so y'all don't believe in the Almighty God who gave you life? If so, then please explain existence. I'm gonna stop right there. I want to make sure I address each point that you made, because it was so much. Now, so y'all don't believe in the Almighty God who gave you life. Let me address that line first. For you to say that, it shows that your relationship with God is on a real basic level, and I say that respectfully. This is where I stand with that. See, what you don't realize is that there's a difference between believing in something and knowing something. For example, I don't believe 2 + 2 is 4. That'll be stupid if my son asks me, hey dad, what's 2 + 2? And I say, son, I believe it's 4. You know, because basically, belief is something you do when you don't know. So I don't believe 2 + 2 is 4. I know 2 + 2 is 4. So for a person that believes in God, it's kind of sound like they unsure. And I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. Scientists believe that there's life on other planets, but they don't stop right there. They launch a rocket to the other planet to see if life is really there. Now, when they get to that planet, if they see life on that other planet, when they come back to Earth, they're not going to say, we believe life is on that other planet. They're now going to say, we know life is on that other planet. So believing is something that you do until you know, until you figure it out. So we believe that there was life on another planet until we launched the rocket out there in space and we found out, hey, there's life out there on other planets. So there's no need to believe it anymore. We can now know it because we've proven it. That's just like in a court of law, you can believe that someone was the murderer. But when I present the evidence and I got your fingerprints on a pistol and the person's blood on your shirt, well, I don't have to believe you did it anymore. I know you did it now. So that's the difference between believing and knowing. The whole point of going to court for something is to get past believing it and to get to knowing it. So we go through all of these trials and present all of this evidence, so when we make our verdict, we can say, what's the facts? We don't never want to end on belief. And I make more lectures in the future just addressing the word belief itself, because that can go deep. But that was a pretty broad view and a long-winded view of my answer on do I believe in God. Basically, I don't believe in God. Basically, I know that there's a force that's greater than anything that we know of, that's responsible for everything that exists. See, I don't have to believe in this force, because when the wind blows, I know that there's a creator. When I see different planets in the solar system moving different patterns and not bumping into one another, or if you put a seed in the ground, it's an intelligence there that knows to grow a tree. So you don't have to believe that the tree will grow. If you put the seed in the soil and water it, the rules of nature said that you're going to get an apple tree or an orange tree or whatever seeds you planted. So you don't have to believe that if you jump right now, that gravity is going to pull you back down to the earth, because no one has flown yet. We never saw a human that fly, and everything that does fly eventually come back down. So basically what I'm saying is, you don't have to believe in certain stuff, and you'll be a fool to believe that there's a God. You should know there's a God. What I'm trying to show you is that I admire your ambition and everything, but there's degrees of knowledge that you might not be on. But after this video, hopefully we can at least get you to thinking different. Now, people who say, I believe in God, my question to them is, what sounds more better? What sounds more stable? I believe in God, or I know there's a God? You see, if somebody come to me when I'm in a time of need and I need help from my fellow brother, and I say, man, can you help me out because I'm really hurting? And that brother tell me, I believe I can help you. Well, I'm going to still keep on asking, because he's not sure. He said he believes he can help me. That means he's not really sure. He believes he can, but he can't be 100%. Now, if my other friend walk in the room and say, don't worry about it, Brother Sanchez, I know I got you. Here go the money right here. I just got to go get change for this 100. We finna walk right now. I know I got you. Which one you think I'm going to feel more comfortable trusting that they got me? The one who said, I believe I can help you, or the one who said, man, I know I got you. I know I got you. No doubt, bro, I got you. You see, belief is not the end result of anything. So anybody that base their religion upon belief is going to always be confusion, because anybody can have a belief. So when Christians come to me and they're talking about what they believe, none of that means nothing to me, because it doesn't matter what you believe. It only matters what you know. You can believe you're going to be successful, but if you don't know you're going to be successful, you're not going to be successful. So it takes more than belief. It takes knowing. And knowing is the root word of knowledge. Even if you're a Christian and if you embrace the Bible as the word of God, which is your prerogative, even in the Bible it says that the Lord God is an all-knowing God. It don't say in the Bible that the Lord God is an all-believing God. That'll mean we got a God that just really doubting itself, basically. It doesn't say that the Lord God is an all-believing God. It say that the Lord God is an all-knowing God. And if you want to be more like God in the Bible or be closer to God, then you should start dealing with knowledge instead of belief. You see? Because your car don't run off of belief. It run off knowledge. It run off science. When you go home tonight and you walk in the house and you cut your air conditioner on because it's hot outside, or you cut your heater on because it's cold outside, it ain't belief that's making that happen. All right, that's knowledge. That's studying of how electricity works and how circuits work over the time so we can develop air conditioning and heating. You didn't get that computer that you looking at this, whatever you looking at this video with, whether it's a desktop computer or a smartphone, you didn't get that device through belief. You got it because somebody did a lot of studying and research and failure and trial and error to get to this technology. So I challenge anybody that want to compare belief to knowledge. Only a fool would do such a thing. You never compare belief to knowledge. You can't compare the two, you know, because belief is something that you do on your journey to knowledge. But once you receive the knowledge, you no longer have to believe whatever it was you were seeking. You see. Now some things you do have to believe. You know, there are some calls for belief. There's some times where you do have to believe. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to the higher power, when it comes to the Almighty, I don't think there's nothing anyone should believe about God, because you should know that the Creator exists. You shouldn't believe that. You know, you shouldn't doubt anything about that. You should know that the Creator exists. So when you look at the sun, no one on earth made that. We can't say we made that. We don't even know how it was made. We know there's a higher power that does. So you don't have to believe in that higher power. You can know that that's the higher power that truly exists when you look at the sun, because something had to be responsible for something that awesome. So you don't have to believe that, you know, something higher than you made the sun. You can look at the sun, you know something bigger than you made the sun. So that's it. And I'm going to go to the next topic that you brought up. The next thing you said was, and you said, and since this presence has the ability to create human beings, meaning people, then that someone is capable of giving life to all things. There is an order to this universe and dimension that we don't even fully understand yet. We still addressing your paragraph here in the comment box. Now, you said there's a order to the universe and dimension that we don't fully understand yet, right? Okay? Let me stop right there. You got to speak for yourself. There is an order to the universe, and there's a lot of things about the universe that we'll never fully understand. But you got to speak for yourself when you say there's an order to the universe that we don't fully understand, because I fully understand the order of the universe. It's very simple. And for people that don't understand it, it's because they haven't invested enough time into knowledge, into seeking knowledge, into freeing their soul. I guarantee you that the person who would make a statement like that can quote you all the lyrics to the newest hip-hop song or whatever, but they can't tell me the laws of Ma'at. They can't tell me, they can't name me 5 names of 5 ancient black pharaohs and ancient Kemet. They can't tell me, you know, what was the name of Africa before Africa. Just basic stuff. But you know what I mean? You can't speak for me when you say that, and I respect where you're coming from, but I'm just letting you know. I fully understand the order of the universe, and it's a simple order, depending on how you want to look at it and what you're trying to get from it. So let me just basically give you a brief breakdown of the order of the universe. The order of the universe is simple. You're going to get you're going to get what you put out. You see, what you put out is what you're going to get in return. Some call that the law of karma. In ancient Kemet, we call it Ma'at, M-A-A-T. Some people call it, you know, what goes around comes around. So, for example, if I put a seed in the ground, I'm going to get a tree. So let me rephrase that. When I say that you get what you put out, you actually get more than what you put out, because you put a little bit of seed in the ground, but you get a big tree. So the law of the universe, you can look at it simple just like that, is that you get what you put out. We don't have to make it real deep and get into, for example, religious get into shedding blood and someone dying from your sins, and what you do wrong was caused by demons, invisible demons and devils, and you know, we got to perform exorcisms and holy water and speaking in tongues, and you know, it's so many different kinds of Christianity. It's over 100,000 different forms that don't agree with each other. So that's what happens when you lose the simplicity of nature, which is simply respect all people and all things. Love people, man. Simply love. It's simple. When you're doing something wrong, you know in your heart you're doing it wrong. You got a consciousness. If we learn to listen to that consciousness, there'll be no need for religions. And not to disrespect anybody that's religious, but I challenge you to become more spiritual. I don't mean to be so long-winded, but I do want to be thorough in my responses. So you said that I don't understand the order of the universe. Yeah, there's a simple order to everything in nature. You got to simply respect nature. Respect the planet. Respect your body. Respect your woman. Respect your brother. You know what I'm saying? Respect yourself. Have love in your heart. You know what I'm saying? For the planet, for the nature. This simple stuff, you know what I'm saying, that I think if the whole world had, that the world would be a lot better, as opposed to everybody having their own different religions. Because what happens is now these different religions go to war. Islam go to war with Christianity. There's been more lives lost as a result of religion and what people believe than anything on the planet. There's been millions of lives lost because of religion, because of I believe this, well I believe this, or I believe that. You know, belief is truly a problem, because belief has caused a lot of lives. But I tell you what has not. Knowledge has not caused any lives. See, if we go to knowledge, and the knowledge is simple. The knowledge is respect people how you want to be respected. You know, the law of nature, what you put out gonna come back. That's real simple. You see, that ain't dealing with no belief, and you got to do a ritual and do all this shedding of blood, and you got to go to the communion and eat the cracker and drink the wine. When the cracker represents the flesh, the wine represents the blood. So basically you symbolically eating flesh of a person and drinking wine. If I do that today, you're going to say I'm a cannibal. You're going to look at me like I'm a cannibalistic vampire or something. But all of that stuff is okay in religion. You know, these rituals and exorcisms and beliefs and different beliefs. When it doesn't matter what anyone believes in the end, what we all know is that we should love one another. And that's basic stuff. So there you go. You know, so I fully understand that order, and I hope that you would that one day you will also. Let's move on. You also said that there is an order to the universe, you know, that we don't fully understand. But then you also said that there is one who does, because he handcrafted it according to what he saw fit. Now, let me address that. First of all, when you speak of this awesome force, this awesome creator that's responsible for this creation. And that's another thing too, in case I've lost you, in case anybody confused before I go on. Earlier I told you that I call myself God. That's not blasphemy, people. There's plenty of gods. Jesus is a God. Buddha is a God. Allah is a God. There's so many different gods in the world today Jesus is not the only God. When I say that I'm a God, I'm simply saying that one who comes from the Creator. Don't let me lose you. Listen, a God can be anything, people. If you're a crackhead, then your God is crack. Alright? If you're obsessed with money and all you can think about is money, then guess what? Your God is money. You know? Your God can be sex. You know, your God can be clothes and fashion. You know? So a God ain't nothing, basically. What we really need to pay attention to is the Creator. Okay? That's the difference between the Creator and a God. Okay, so if you serving a God, then automatically you're wrong. Okay, you should be serving the one true Creator. Alright? And this Creator can't be called a God, because God can be anything. A God can be anything. So we know that there's only one Creator that's responsible for this creation called the universe. Alright, this universe is a creation, and there's a Creator responsible for it. Alright, so there's a Creator that's higher than any God you can name to me. That's higher than Buddha, Allah, Jesus, any of these gods on this earth today. There's a Creator that's higher than all of them. And so, no, I don't believe in God. I know that there's a Creator. You see the difference? You see the difference? Two statements, but one is more correct. You can say, I believe in God, or you can say, I know there's a Creator. You see what I'm saying? Now, let's speak on what you said here. One thing I want to point out is that you referred to this God as a he. No one knows whether God is a he or a she. But I will tell you this. What we see in nature is a female principle that's responsible in the creation of the life process. So even though the seed comes from the male, the seed is nurtured inside of the woman's belly for 9 months, and she has ultimate dominion over that seed, because when that seed is in her stomach, she has to eat right. She has to not use drugs. It's up to her. She has the fate of that seed. It's up to her on how that baby is going to be born. The man don't have no power after he's planted the seed. So the woman has control over that seed. If you look at the show on Maury, they have to try to figure out who the baby daddy is. But you never have to guess who the mama is, because it comes from her. You know, it's actually formed out of the fabric of her flesh inside of that womb. So life comes from the woman. And the whole process of creation is a feminine aspect. And the aspect of destruction is a male aspect. For example, you need them both. There's a balance there. For example, if you got an old store with old plumbing and old piping, and we want to come in and build a new store, well, we got to come in first and destroy the old one. Then we can build our new one on top. But the first act of construction is destruction. And that's even shown when you look at the universe, how planets may collide into one another and crash. But from that, you get a whole new solar system. You see what I'm saying? A star explodes. But from the explosion, you get new solar system, new planets, even new stars. So everything goes together to bring balance here. Destruction and construction. So I brought that up just to say that we can't call this great force that created this great universe a he or a she, since this great force created both the he and the she. Simply because in that this great force created male and female, so it must be an entity that's above them both. You know, it has to be some kind of entity that's above male and female sexes. You know what I mean? Because, and we got to go by what we see in nature, because when we look at nature, we looking at God in action. You know, we didn't create the wind. We didn't tell the birds and the trees how to react to this environment. this creative force that's responsible for the universe is neither male nor female. If you say that it's female, guess what? You're singling God to one thing. All right? You're narrowing God. We can't say that God is all things, but then say God is a man. What that mean? No, God is a man, God is a woman, God is a tree, God is a bird, God is the water, God is the air, God is the fire, God is the moon. You get what I'm saying? We just can't say he, because God is something higher than he. We're talking about a force that's omnipotent throughout the universe. There's no dimensions to this force, meaning that you can't measure God because God is infinite. So if God is infinite, we can't say God has hands or feet or eyes and a mouth because that's not infinite. You can measure that. You can measure me right now. I'm 5'10", I weigh 150. If you say God has eyes, a mouth, and is a man, then that's something that can be calculated. We can say, well, how tall is that man? What color is that man? But the true creator doesn't have any attributes because it is everything that there is, period. So this is how you got to get your mind to think. People, the problem is our whole concept of God is wrong. Just the way I'm looking at this Facebook, these Facebook responses show me that we haven't risen to a level of knowledge that would give us a better relationship with the Creator and a better understanding of the Creator. You got to do more research and more learning, brother, before you come out like this, okay? Because I don't deal with belief. I deal with knowledge. Knowledge is higher, all right? When you deal with knowledge, you can build a house on knowledge. But you can't build a house on belief, okay? You can't build it on belief, You can't feed your family on belief, but you can feed your family on knowledge if you know how to go out there and make a fire, and you know how to hunt and go catch this animal, or you know which plants to pick, which one's poisonous and which one's not poisonous. You know how to go out here and earn a living so you can put food on the table. That's not belief, all right? That's not belief. That's knowledge, okay? Even if you pray to get a job at McDonald's, right? You can pray and pray and pray to get a job at Walmart or get a job at the Honda plant or wherever you want to get a job at. You can pray and pray and pray. Whether you get the job or not, it don't matter. Okay? When you get that job, if you get it, they're going to fire you if you don't have the knowledge. After they teach you and train you and you show that you still don't have the knowledge, them people ain't hiring you based on what you believe. Okay? After you get out of training, they want you to know what they just taught you. They don't want you to believe it. They want you to know it. So you can go out here and make a car and put it on the road without endangering somebody's life. I'd rather lean on knowledge before I lean on belief. And knowledge will take us further than belief ever will. And the Creator will take us further than any God ever will. So I don't care if you're Christian, if you're Buddhism, if you're Islam. All I'm saying is I'm not judging anyone's belief. What I'm doing is I'm challenging you to get out of belief, because belief is not the end result of anything, okay? If I ask a child what's 9 times 9, and that child say to me, I believe it's 81, until that child tells me that she or he knows it's 81, it don't get a correct answer, okay? Even though 9 times 9 is 81, if I ask you if 9 times 9 is 81 and you say you believe it's 81, you're going to get the answer wrong because you're not sure. But if you say it's 81, I know it's 81, then I can give you doubt because there's no doubt in your mind, and you would be right. Because you did the calculations, you did the math, you worked it out, and you know it's 81. You don't have to guess about it. You don't have to believe it because you worked it out. You saw it on paper. It's 9 times 9 is 81. Okay, now someone who never did that, if I just told them 9 times 9 is 81 and they never worked it out for themselves, then they just believe in what I said. They don't really know. They just believe in me. But If they go work it out, then they could come back and say, you right, man. People say demons are real, spirits are real. People say that the devil is real and that the devil calls people, to do evil things. This is what people say, especially Christians, is that there's demons responsible for people being wicked, and that the devil is responsible for all of the wickedness of the world. And when Christians say this, they're exercising their belief. They're telling you their belief. And I just explained to you that belief is pretty much garbage. We need to know the facts. Is there really a devil causing this? And the reason I ask is because this. If we say that there's a devil that's invisible and that he's going around influencing evil on the world, right? We're blaming that all of the evil in the world is on this devil. And we say that this devil is a red dragon and he has horns and a tail, and he says, ha ha ha, that's the devil we all been taught about. But here's the thing. If we say this is the bad guy, this is the one that's responsible for all the evil in the world, then there's been plenty of times in history where people go on killing sprees or they do real evil murders and stuff, and they get in court and they say, the devil told me to do it. They say the devil told me to do that. Now in court, when them people say that an evil spirit told them to kill somebody or the devil told them to do it, they call a person crazy. In fact, most of them get off of the case because they say, man, this person is psychiatric, or something like that. So my point is if we're going to give the devil credit for all of this evil, that means I can walk up to you right now and slap you in the face, and you shouldn't be mad at me because the devil made me do it. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's a lame excuse to blame it all on a red dragon with a pitchfork and a tail on all of this evil, instead of saying, hey man, it's just some bad people in the world. And that's the truth. That's the simple truth. It's some evil people in the world. Now, the question is, what makes them evil? Is there a red dragon really making those people evil? Or is there good and evil in everybody, and some of us just exercise our evil way more than others? There's no balance. You see, with the most the greatest person in the world, has a little bit of evil to him, or a bad side. No one's perfect, in other words. Now, if I say, man, or what if I say that, okay, I came down with a sickness that made me lose my job, and it put me out on the street. And what I'm doing here is I'm showing you the mentality of Christians. When stuff ain't going right, that's the devil. When stuff is going good, that's God. If I'm walking down the street and I pick up $5 off the ground, a Christian would say, man, that's a blessing. That was a blessing. I didn't have no money in my pocket, and I just so happened to bend the corner and I found $5 right here on the ground. Now a Christian gonna say, man, that's a blessing. But really, is it a blessing? Because if it is a blessing for you, then guess what? It's a curse for the person that lost the money. What if they only had $5 left, right? And they dropped it. They walking around blaming it on the devil. And you blaming it on God that you found it. So what I'm saying is, since the beginning of time, people been looking for something to blame evil on and something to blame good on. And what I'm telling you is this, people. There's good people and bad people. I can be a devil to you, or I can be a God to you. I can come into your life and bless you and help you out, or I can come and tear you down and talk about you behind your back and do you wrong. I can be either or. So let's not be caught up and say that the devil is responsible for evil, because if you say that the devil created evil, then that gives the devil the same amount of power as you give the creator. You see? Because evil what you call evil, and I'm going to make another subject because I want to wrap this up. I want to get into a subject about really the concepts of good and evil. That can go on and on and on. But basically, I'm being a little too long-winded. I want to wrap this up. You know, when we talk about spirits, demons, and angels, all of that is spookism, man. We can't be sure on that. We can't say that there's some demons we can't see that's walking around making somebody sell a crack rock or making somebody smoke a cigarette. You know, we can't say that because, you know, we got to look at the true cause of what's causing evil. Now, for example, I challenge Christians to think about what I'm about to say. According to the Bible, evil appeared on the planet when Eve bit the apple. The minute she bit that apple, basically, we got to think about something. According to the Bible, sin is because Eve bit the apple. When she bit from the tree, then came evil onto the earth, also death and etc., etc. You know the story. Prior to this, there was no evil, according to the Bible. Now, if that is true, this is what we're saying here. If everything on the planet that's evil comes from this woman biting the apple, that's something you got to believe. We don't know that. That's the reason evil got here. Now, here's the thing. If we say evil came into the world when she bit the apple, then that's not true, because the first evil would have been the snake, right? Because the snake had to be evil in order for him to say something like that to go against God, according to the Bible. So the first evil didn't appear on the planet when she bit the apple. The first evil was the snake. Then the question is, where did the snake come from? Okay? The snake projected as an evil creature in the Garden of Eden. But my question is, where did this snake come from and who created it? Because we read early on in Genesis that God created all of the animals, the crawling ones, meaning the snakes and everything. And that this snake, one of the snakes in the garden that God created, must have been one of the snakes that convinced Eve to bite the apple. So my thing is, if God created an evil snake, either there's some evil in God, or God ain't perfect, or we conceiving it wrong, and we really need to do more learning. And see what it is I put that out there to challenge your thoughts. You see, think about what I just said. The snake convinced Eve to bite the apple. So the snake was evil before she was. And she didn't create the snake. The same God that created the tree created the snake that convinced the woman to eat of the tree. So when we say that the reason for evil in the world is because Eve ate of this tree, that's not true, because evil was already in the world, and the snake is evidence of that. God created all of the animals, including this snake that spoke to Eve. So this snake was evil. Okay, that's clear. And the Bible projects this snake as evil. So the God of the Bible created this evil snake. There's your proof right there that God, either one, created evil, which all Christians say God created the devil. So my point is, we can't give the devil credit for creating evil, because God created evil. Okay, yep, you're the good creator of the universe, the one. Alright, the creator created both good and evil, and you need them both. Just like I explained to you, you need destruction and construction, because you have to tear the old building down to build a new building. So you need them both. Alright, you need balance of them both. Okay, is what makes a good person. You can't be too evil or too good, but there is times necessary where you do need to be angry, or you can look at this evil forces, that rage force, that part of you that take action, that you can look at that as fire, and you can look at the good force as water or wind. But we need all of those elements to make up earth. So the balance, okay, because if there was too much of any one of those, the planet would be off balance. So we got to learn from the knowledge of the planets. We got to look at nature and see that, we got to learn more about good and evil, God, the creator. All of these are deep topics. And when you deal with belief, it strips you of searching for knowledge, because it's easy to believe something than to know it. Because to know something, you got to study, you got to research, you got to do homework and understanding. It's easy to just believe somebody say, but it's harder to research what they say and then know it for yourself. So that's my thing about belief and where I stand about belief. I think that belief is okay when you use it right. And I think a lot of stuff that we believe shouldn't be believed, that we should be at a point of knowing a lot of stuff now. Like if you still believe in God, you need to catch up. You should know that there's a God. You know what I mean? So when you learn what belief is, then you'll learn that you really need to move to a higher level beyond your belief and start getting into knowledge. So that's where I stand. And I'm not hacking anyone's religion or viewpoint, and I'm doing this response respectfully. I want to point out something that another brother said. I believe in God, Yahweh, Jehovah. Okay? What we are saying, they took our religion and turned it around, and made it, that everybody was another race. I'm going to address that line. Here's this brother said, I believe in God, Yahweh. See, when you believe in a God, then you got to give this God a name. You see, if I go to somebody and say I believe, if they say, man, I believe in God, my next question is going to be, what God? Because there's a lot of gods on the planet, But if I go up to somebody and they say, hey, I know there's a creator. I know there's an awesome creator, period. Then there's no room for me to ask them anything. They just summed it all up. They know that there's an awesome creator responsible for creation. You see? But if you say you believe in a God, then you leave me with a bunch of questions. What kind of God? What religion? How does he look? Did your God speak English or did he speak Arabic? How tall was your God? You just said your God name was Jehovah. So, your God has a name. What I'm saying is the creator invented language. You don't give a name to the one that invented language itself. It's okay to name your dog or name your cat or name your pets, but I think it's disrespectful to try to give the creator a name. Because when you name something, what you're doing is you title it, and you actually putting a human attribute on it. You don't give a name to the force of nature, because any name you give it won't be enough, So for the simple fact that you believe in this God, you still ain't on a level of knowing that there's a creator, and you actually even giving your God a name, and someone else can come along and say, well, that ain't the name of my God named Buddha, and here go an argument now. But see, everybody know there's a creator, so why give it a name? Why give it a title? Why make it into a religion and an organization, and then now it need money, and now it need to pay light bills for this building and all of this stuff? You go to some of these ghettos, the only beautiful thing in the community is the church. The big old $1 million church in the middle of it all, sucking the people dry. You a slave to what you believe. And only the truth can set you free. What's the truth? Knowing, knowledge. You see, the truth is that 2 + 2 is 4. You don't have to believe the truth. You can know the truth. In fact, you can't believe the truth. It's impossible to believe the truth. So truth and knowledge goes synonymous with each other. All right? Now, the truth will set you free. So knowledge, learning, seeking, diligently will set you free. Not believing. You're going to believe whatever you believe to the day you die, and you still won't know nothing. So until you come to me telling me what you guys know, I don't really pay attention to your beliefs, because I'm telling you here now what I know. And it's simple stuff. That there is a high creator responsible for the universe. Now you want to force me to identify that creator, but in doing so, you just limited the creator, because there is no identity to such a force so great. You know, there's no dimensions or sizes or shapes to it. There's just an awesome force that simply is, okay, all things. All right, and really to be marveled, and I give praise to that high force. You know, I don't give it a name. You know, I don't want to be too long-winded. There's plenty more videos that I got coming in the future where I'm gonna really address more stuff in detail and show more pictures and stuff, and really enlighten y'all on some real deep stuff. I'm talking about concerning your spirit, concerning your soul, your mind, concerning the universe, concerning different dimensions. Just a bunch of stuff that not popular, you know. That's not popular today. So with that being said, I'm gonna wrap it up. I hope I addressed everybody. I appreciate everybody for listening and exercising patience, giving me your time and your ear, and trying to understand where I stand on it, because one thing that I don't like is to be misunderstood. So I hope I made it clear to you brothers where I stand on it, and I address your misconceptions. And as I wrap it up here, stay tuned. I'll be giving more videos here shortly concerning God versus the Creator, and believing versus knowing. I'm going to dig more deep into that as we go on, so make sure y'all subscribe. Don't miss out on none of this good information, because it's given to you uncut. It's not given to you in a suit and tie. And you know, I do everything you guys do, except that I love my people. I honestly, sincerely just wish that nature and everything that exists was the way that truly it's supposed to be. And I do know that man has a part in the fate of reality, what we see today. And that man need more knowledge of his spirituality. And religion has kept us in darkness for a long time. And so that's where I stand. I'm not hacking people that's religious, and I just hope that you'll give me the same respect. And like I said, thank you for listening. Go ahead and subscribe, and make sure you get in the comment box and give me your viewpoint. Excuse me. Let me know what you think. Get in the comment box. Give me your opinion. You know, ask questions. I really want to know what you guys think about this. So get in the comment box, and maybe you can give me some information I ain't aware of. Help me out here. So go ahead, subscribe, and go ahead and like the video. That pretty much wrap it up. I hope I addressed everybody's stuff. I appreciate y'all brothers and sisters for tuning in to me. Go ahead, subscribe, like, and share. I'm going to be uploading these videos, man, at least 2 or 3 of them a week. So farewell, and that's pretty much it. Thank y'all for listening and not judging. So get in the comment box and let me know what you think. Peace.